Thank goodness it'll be day 40 before we know it. Just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Want to thank Georgia DOT, GEMA, State Patrol, our line crews, first responders, and everybody else that responded to the storm. We appreciate them and certainly appreciate the members of the General Assembly for supporting what they do every day out there in this dangerous world. Also honored to have the greatest First Lady in the country, Marty Kemp, with us, and chaperoning and supervising her today is the First Lady of the House, Dale Burns. We appreciate y'all being with us. Appreciate Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, Speaker of the House John Burns, and especially want to thank Budget Chairman Blake Tillery, Senator Blake Tillery, and Representative Matt Hatchett for being with us today, and certainly all these legislative leaders that are behind us. We appreciate you all's partnership so much. We have together made incredible progress in our classrooms. Since 2019, we have raised public school teacher pay by nearly $10,000. We have restored the promise of the Hope Scholarship. We have provided $230 million to our higher education system to eliminate the special institution fee to help keep college affordable for our scholars. We've invested roughly $20 million to help our paraprofessionals take that next step in their career to become a teacher. We have increased the number of counselors in our schools. And with this year's budget, we have fully funded our schools now for 5 years in a row. All told, we have committed an additional $3.7 billion in ongoing funding just since I took office in K-12 education. That's more than any other governor in any other General Assembly in state history. And it ensures our students and teachers have the resources for a quality education. Today, with the support of the people you see here, standing shoulder to shoulder, I'm proud to say that this year we will build on those investments by fully funding our classrooms and adding an additional $10.3 million for local schools for pupil transportation. As many school districts have experienced growth over the last several years, this new funding will ensure they can transport students to school without having to cut into other parts of their budgets. I'm grateful to the leaders up here with me that they have agreed to this infusion that will directly affect our local communities. But we also know that a quality education requires a safe learning environment. That's why we work together to strengthen campus security for every school in the state. Just since I took office, we have provided more than $185 million in one-time school security grants, which equal to roughly $80,000 per school. And after the conversations with school superintendents and leaders across the state this past session, we took a strong step to make these school security grants a permanent part of the budget. Every year, each school will receive over $47,000 to spend on security-related infrastructure or staffing. As all of us remember, the horrific tragedy last year put these investments to test. And had those supports for school security not been made, that fateful day in October could have been even more tragic. With that in mind, I am proposing an additional $50 million in one-time school security grants, which will bring the total grant amount for the current fiscal year to over $86,000 per school for a total of $158 million statewide this year that we will spend on school security. We will also be looking into how we can best improve the student-to-school psychologist ratio and provide funding for crisis counseling training, further building on the progress we've made in prior budgets on this issue. All of these investments were planned with the goal of making our schools even safer, strengthening mental health support for our students, teachers, and faculty, in developing the best and brightest minds right here in Georgia. Again, I want to thank the men and women you see here with us for their support across multiple years now for these measures. As we have said before, I know we can and will deliver on these measures for our students and hard-working Georgia families. With that, I'll turn it over to one of our key partners, our Lieutenant Governor, Burt Jones.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Governor Kemp. Thank you so much. Thank you, First Lady Kemp, for being here today. It's great to be here with the Speaker of the House, Speaker John Burns. You can't say much more than what the governor just said. 2 years ago, we started talking about our school systems being a very vulnerable place for our kids being educated, and where we needed to beef up in security and things of that, and invest more in our school systems. We did that then, and had it not been for the investments that we had made, as the governor said, the tragedy that did hit Appalachia a year ago could have been much, much worse. And we're going to continue. This is going to be an ongoing effort where all three chambers, the executive branch, as long as the House and the Senate, are always going to continue to work on building on what the governor has put forth here in the last year, and what we're going to certify in both the House and the Senate this upcoming year. I want to talk about another measure that we're going to be pushing in the Senate. We did it last year with Alyssa's Law, that is a mandate on school door security measures that we passed out of the Senate last year. It came up short last year in the House, but I do feel like that after having a year of educating our friends over in the House, as well as the Speaker, on that measure, that it will be successful this upcoming year. So I don't want to take any more of the Speaker's time here, but I will just say that I want to thank Governor Kemp and his leadership, as well as Speaker Burns and the working coalition that we've had as a group in trying to make sure that our kids are safe and our kids have a very secure place to go to school and live and learn every day. So thank you, Governor Kemp, again. Thank you, members of the House and Senate, and Speaker Burns, your turn.
Governor Jones, you're right. I do need some time, because our chaplain of the day this morning in the House said he had about a 2-hour message, but he thought he could get it done in 45 minutes, and he stayed on that plan. So it is I don't have quite that much, but y'all know what I know. It's always a great day to be a Georgian, and today is as well. You know, it's also great to be back here under this bright and shiny gold dome, Governor. Thanks for sharing that gold with us and making sure it's beautiful again. This 2025 legislative session is with Governor Kemp, Lieutenant Governor Jones, and all of our members in the House and Senate. We're ready to go. We're ready to get to the people's work. That's where we are, and we talked a lot about it. Now we're ready to get to work. We talk a lot in the House about education, where this increasing pre-K funding, early literacy initiatives, teacher pay raises, or school safety. And we're proud of the work we've done to create incredible educational opportunities for Georgia students. We're certainly going to continue building on our successes, as the governor said. But this year, following those devastating tragedies we witnessed at Appalachia High School, I made it clear to the House that we would leave no stone unturned when it comes to ensuring that our students can learn in a safe and secure environment. First, I am proud to fully support Governor Kemp working with Lieutenant Governors to provide an additional $50 million in the amended fiscal year 2025 budget for one-time school safety grants. This funding, combined with our prior investments in school safety, will make a significant improvement and a significant investment in every public school in our state for school safety upgrades, improvements, infrastructure, and personnel. Whether a school needs additional security cameras, buildings, safety infrastructure, alert systems, or resource officers, these grants will provide the flexibility and discretion needed to fit the unique needs of every school in every corner of our state. Next, the House is going to continue discussion around school safety cameras and put forth measures to require any revenue generated from school-owned cameras infractions to be designated for school safety. The intended purpose of these cameras is to keep our students safe as they travel to and from school each day. And it just makes good common sense that the revenue generated from their use is designated to just that: keep our children, teachers, and schools safe. Next, we'll take steps to address our students' access to mental health care. We know that mental health care continues to be a growing concern among our young people. That's why I'm proud to join with Governor Kemp in increasing funding to improve our student-to-school psychologist ratio. There's no question, y'all, that the pressures of adolescence are becoming increasingly difficult for our children. And ensuring that they have access to mental health resources and care is critical to their safety and well-being. Finally, we know there was a significant breakdown in communication between school districts, law enforcement agencies, and other agencies leading up to the tragedy at Appalachia High School. The House will take action to require our schools participation in a statewide information sharing and gathering network to assessment model. This model will aim to provide school officials and law enforcement agencies with the information they need to keep our schools, our students safe while maintaining the highest possible of privacy standards for students and families. Our children are our future. They are the future of our state, and our educational system is the foundation of their success. The House looks forward to working alongside my friend, Lieutenant Governor Jones, our colleagues in the Senate, and Governor Kemp to ensure the success of K-12 education here in the great state of Georgia. Thank you. Governor Kemp.
Well, thank you, Speaker Burns, Lieutenant Governor Jones. With that, we'll open it up for questions, and I know both these guys moved way off to the side, but they're willing to answer your questions, as am I. Well, I will just commend the members of the General Assembly. When we did this first, I campaigned on this issue in 2018 with complete local control. We did grants. I believe it was in my first big budget, and the General Assembly went along with that. When we did the second round, we changed up who was, kind of how the money would be distributed, even though it was still going to the local school systems. They had complete local control, because look, they know their schools and their campuses better than we do. For myself, I don't want to speak for the legislators here, but I think the local school boards, the superintendents, working with their local law enforcement, they know what their individual campuses need. What I have heard is that we still have a few systems out there that maybe haven't been able to put a certain kind of security system that would help their campus. Others had been using the money for personnel. So in talking with the legislative leadership, we kind of felt like, let's do one more round of one-time funding, so there will be no excuse for any system in the state to have, what they need. And then you still got the continuation funding that these legislators or the folks that were here last year put in the continuation budget of the funding formula. So that's going to keep going next year and the year after that. But this will help people that haven't been able to do something with one-time money, hopefully be able to finish that out, and we'll see what they want to do. You're going to have some systems that, want to put additional hardware. As somebody mentioned earlier, you'll have some of them that want to go with, a campus-wide security, maybe more cameras, communications in every classroom, whatever it is. We just want the money to go and support those kind of things, and then certainly the legislature will be digging into that as we go through the budget process too, and working with the local systems. I will say that the system we have in place, everybody early on had to have a security plan for their district before they could get the money, to make sure we knew what they were going to spend that money on. We weren't dictating what they should spend it on. We just want to know that they had a detailed plan to do that, so they're getting a good bang for the buck, and that the taxpayer can rest assured that this is going to keep our kids and our teachers and our school system staff safe.
Education groups have asked for more spending on the APEX mental health program, as well as social workers and counselors, in addition to psychologists. Is choosing to do only the psychologists, is that a choice about how much money is available?
Well, I would just say this from the APEX program. You know, I also campaigned on that, funded that. My first budget, that money's still in there. The problem is finding these professionals is very, very hard. That's something our state's been working on, is to continue to find more of these counselors and other people in our classrooms. So I'm open to all of the above. I mean, look, if you think about what we've done on mental health in this state, the General Assembly last year, and the budgets we propose, we're spending more money now on mental health than we ever have in the history of our state. And we'll continue to do that. I would rest assured with the budgets that I'll be proposing anyway, and I'm sure the legislature is very supportive of that as well. Well, listen, we'll work with the General Assembly on any issues that they have. I mean, look, nobody's come to me pre-session and talked about those kind of issues, but we stand ready to work with people. But our main issue right here is making sure that we're helping our schools with this additional funding of $50 million added to what we have in the base budget last year, can keep their schools safe. And I think we saw how well the system that Appalachia had worked, even though that was a tragic day. It could have been more tragic. If we had not had that funding for that school system, I dare to think what would have happened. All right, thank you all for being here. Looking forward to a great session.